Hi, everybody. Welcome to Whose Line Are You On Anyway? I am Dave Pagnotta. Thank you for joining us. We've got two special guests coming up here on the program, and we're pretty jacked, pretty excited about this. You guys can field in your questions for these two great NHL players, and we'll be reading them. We'll follow through. I'll try to get through as many as I can for these two guys. And remember, if you want to check out and purchase any of their autographed memorabilia, pucks, want to sign up and for some cool video chats directly with these guys, go to wizardworldvault.com, and all the proceeds that are going to be raised, those are going to go to these guys' respective foundations. So we're all doing this for fun, and we're all doing this for charity. I'm going to do this right now. Intro our two guys that are jumping in. Number 13 of the Columbus Blue Jackets and number 71, Cam Atkinson and Nick Foligno. What's up, boys?
We're coming in. Hold on. There we are.
Coming in hot.
What's up? How you doing?
How's it going, guys? How's Columbus treating you these days?
It's great. Actually,
really well.
A nice snowfall here right now, so it's feeling like Christmas down here. Good.
And I just want to get this out of the way quickly. That was neat. It wasn't either of you guys that was rollerblading down the freeway the other day.
Cam.
It was Cam. Okay.
I wasn't going to say anything.
I know that bum anywhere.
Hey, okay. Just now we got that out of the way. We got it.
No, us. We're not that desperate yet.
Yeah, Torts hasn't put in that into the regimen, right?
He had a good stride though. Whoever it was, she. I'm not sure, but
you got to stay in shape somehow.
The panda hat did it for me. That was amazing.
Got to do what you can. We're going to be taking in some questions here, guys, from a bunch of fans that are going to be jumping in throughout Twitch and YouTube and Facebook. So I'll try to run through some of those with you. But I just wanted to start things off. Been a crazy year. There's no question. And the offseason obviously leaves a lot of challenges for how you guys normally would stay in shape and go through those motions. What was the biggest challenge, or has been the biggest challenge so far, in keeping in shape and keeping game ready in preparation for the season?
Well, I think I think there's a reason why the off season is shorter than the regular season. There's only so much time you can to train and do all the things necessary to get yourself ready. And we want to play. I mean, that's what we're built to do. We want to play hockey games. And so it's been challenging. I'm not going to lie and say it isn't, but I think we've just tried to keep in mind and, what else is going on in the world and know that, we're also in a pretty good position that we're able to just, essentially play a game for a living. And, we understand that people are hurting right now. There's families torn apart. And I think when you remind yourself of that, then your woe is me kind of goes by the wayside. And you realize that we're pretty fortunate to have the health of our families. We're dads and husbands, and we're kind of enjoying that time with them as well. This is time I've said I'll never get back. Probably once we hit the ground and get back into a season, we're going to hit the ground running. And so I'm sure we'll look back on this, if we handle it the right way, as a great time. And so that's what's kind of, as hard as it has been, because you want to play and you want to, you have a certain window you feel like you can win. We know we're also very fortunate. We're thinking about all the people that are affected and the frontline workers and all those people.
We got some fans from Dublin and Columbus chiming in here. Welcome. If you got questions, feel free to throw them up into the chat, and we'll try to get to as many as we can. Cam, you're entering your 10th season in the NHL. Going to be a little different, obviously. Last year was a little shorter at the end. This year, a little shorter to start. Have you done anything differently over the course of your career to prep for a new season, this one being your 10th?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. Obviously, 10 years goes by pretty quick, as this guy can attest. But, I've been fortunate to be on the same team since the get-go. Hopefully finish my career here as well. But, obviously getting older, you kind of know what works and what doesn't work in the weight room and stuff that you've done over the course of your whole life for the most part, where you know what makes you successful and what doesn't. Like I said, getting older, you don't need to lift as heavy as you normally would. But at the same time, for me, I want to stay explosive and quick. And my speed is obviously one of my biggest assets. So little things like that where I've had to adjust and adapt and kind of learn on the fly. But yeah, I mean, I would say that, just training a little bit differently as I get older.
You guys are obviously pretty tight. You've got a tight knit group for the most part out there. How does that translate to on ice success when you guys when it's kind of easy to kind of get along, hang out, have some wine, have a dinner, let the families hang out as well?
I just think it's so important because it is amazing how that does trickle into your team. We're all professionals and there's a job to do, but if you can be as close as you are at the rink as you are, off of it, it's amazing how that really transpires into a great team chemistry. And so it's something we try to do. I mean, we try to get together quite often. Obviously, Cam and I have been on the team a long time, so we've become real good friends. But just bringing anyone new in, the sooner that any new player or person to the team can get acclimated and comfortable in a team, whether that's, with their wives or girlfriends or whoever, it's amazing how much more comfortable they feel coming to the rink and doing their job. So that's big. I think that's a big part of our success right now. Everyone talks about, and it's something I'm proud of. I'm sure Cam is. When they talk about our team, everyone that leaves or comes says, wow, what a tight group you guys are. We've worked at that. It doesn't just come by, I think Yarmo's brought in really good people. But we've worked at that as a group to make sure that, what we're doing off the ice allows us to have the success on. And, we'll get together for dinners on the road. A lot of guys go with different groups and there's no cliques here. We really try to make it one team, and we have a lot of fun. I mean, it's a blast going to the rink, and how hard Torts is. We make it fun for ourselves with just the way we go to work, and he loves that too. I mean, Torts is one of the biggest supporters of getting together with the guys and having a great time, and he loves it. So it makes it easy.
And obviously with a couple guys, a few guys actually coming in with Grigorenko, you've got Mikko Koivu joining the club, and of course Max Domi from Montreal. Have you had a lot of opportunity to chat with these guys and just tell them what it's like to be a member of the Blue Jackets?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I've known Max for quite some time. We just have a mutual friend. So I've known Max probably for around 8 years. So we've been in touch from time to time, but especially once he signed with us, we've been talking probably every other day. Went to his house the other night when he first got in. He's so excited to be part of our team. They look identical on the ice too. I saw Today was the first day they skated, and I was laughing because had Max not been a lefty, I would have no idea what hand they are, or which guy. So that's pretty funny. It's good. And actually, speaking of Max, obviously very happy to have him. He's going to fit into our mold perfectly, just with his tenacity and the way he plays. But sounds like from what Tort said, me, Nick, and Max are going to start off the season together if we have a season. But looking forward to playing with these two guys, obviously.
We have some more fans coming in from Chicago and Cleveland as well. Remember, if you have any questions, definitely let us know. Chime into the chat, and we'll get some of those over to the boys here, Nick Foligno, Cam Atkinson of the Columbus Blue Jackets. And so that's the plan, right? That for now, anyway, that you two and Max to form a trio together.
That's the
Cam knows more than I do.
I'm the insider trader with the Blue Jackets. So it's from what I heard that's how we're going to start, and
nice.
Looking forward to it. I think we all kind of play the same way to an extent, bring something different to the table, but. We all have a lot to prove. It's his contract year, and I know he loves contract year. Obviously Max has a lot to prove from his year last year, and same with me. I mean, I had one of the worst years of my career last year. So kind of, brought my game back in the playoffs, but looking forward to really starting off on the right foot and just rock and rolling.
Yeah. And I think too,
nice.
You mentioned some other guys too, like Mikko Koivu, I think is a huge addition. Yeah. It's going to help our club a lot. Just his leadership, but also the way he plays the game. He's such a hard guy, playing against him. Yeah. I mean, he's a hard-nosed player. So I think that's a big pickup for our club. And then Mikhail Grigorenko, just seeing him skating around here. I mean, he's got tons of skill. And, we definitely welcome a guy like that can help put the puck in the net. So excited to see what our team can do. I think we've made some subtractions, but some good additions as well. And I think it's going to help us take that next step forward.
Remember, if you have a question, and we're going to get to a bunch of them, so boys, we'll be bouncing around a little bit. But that's what this is all about. Get your Q&As in here. Well, you do the Qs, they'll do the As. into the chat, and one of them from CBJ_fan wants to know from you guys, outside of playing at Nationwide, what's one or two of your favorite rinks that you've been able to play in?
Man, every rink is so special. It's a little different. I mean, I grew up a Rangers fan, so obviously going to the Garden, there's a reason why they call it the most famous arena in the world.
And it's crazy too. You walk up that ramp.
Yeah,
that's the coolest part.
It's annoying. I live legs going up there. I have to get on this guy's shoulder. He carries me up every single time.
that ramp does. You're in shape for the game if you're not huffing and puffing by the time you get up the ramp. But
nice.
Yeah, MSG is definitely up there. Friends and family come from all over, out of the woodworks. And then I would say probably I like Chicago.
The Anthem's cool.
Yeah, the Anthem is the most special part of Chicago, but playing in Canada, I mean, that's where hockey, originated, right? So like you go there and it's just a whole nother atmosphere. Pretty special.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's so many. I think my first game was at Air Canada Center. What's it called now? Scotiabank. I don't even know
Scotiabank Arena.
Names, but that was pretty special only because of the proximity to my family. They're only 4 hours away, so a lot of them got to come. So every time I go there just seems to be a lot more family in town, which I love playing in front of. But it's crazy. Cam's right. Like every single rink has something neat that when you play there, there's just some, Montreal and the way their fans are right on top of you. The hot dogs after the game, we love.
Who are you?
Not me. Yeah, right. Don't let Cam eat the hot dogs after the game.
Before or after?
It's a long, long flight home when Cam eats the hot dogs.
We sit next to each other on the plane, so.
Yeah. So
no, you got masks now, so that might help.
Yeah, thank God. But yeah, it's really it is cool that every arena seems to have their own little flair, and honestly, there's not one that I can really pick out. I mean, there's some that definitely stand out, but they're all fun to play in, especially when the crowd's in there.
What about like just places to visit other than seeing family and things like that, obviously? But what about a lot of people like California trips. A lot of people like heading out to Florida, things like that. Is there one spot that really sticks out at you?
People like the warmth.
Yeah.
People like the sun. It's funny.
I'm sure the Florida guys are all looking to go somewhere that's like mountains or something.
They want to come.
We all want to go to the warmth. I like Boston though. That's a city that I really like to go and visit.
A lot of history.
Yeah. It's just it's a cool city. But yeah, I mean the warmth. I like the Arizona swing. The Vegas trip is always fun.
Yeah.
If you're winning. Yeah, we've had some good success in Vegas though. Boys know how to play in Vegas.
Yeah.
There you go. Catch a few shows.
Yeah. So it's I mean having them come in the league has been awesome too, and just more teams in the warmth is fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're approaching that. And hopefully we're good to go, right? We'll get to that stuff a little bit later, but let's touch on some of the foundations that you guys obviously are involved with and work with. And Nick, of course, Hearts Playbook, heartsplaybook.com with your wife Janelle and the book. Talk to some people that are watching right now about that, and in case they've had haven't familiarized themselves just yet with it.
No, thanks. I mean, it is rather new, and we're really proud of it. Obviously, and my wife's done so much work, and she's incredible just to see her inspiration come to life. I guess our daughter was born with a congenital heart defect, and it kind of rocked our world as our first kid. So you're already nervous to be a parent, and then to have that happen, it turned us upside down. But the story that she's fought back from, and the adversity that she's faced has just inspired us, and the people we've come across because of her story has been just so inspiring. And we just realized, even going through it all, we said, when we get better and when things can get back on a smoother road here, we want to find a way to give back. And so that's kind of what, gave birth to the idea of the Hearts Playbook. And it's more of a condensed area to go to. My wife developed a book inside that's called Dear Heart. When my daughter went through her second open heart surgery, she was 5 years old. So we were looking for information to kind of help her. She knew what was coming. And that's a hard thing as a parent, to try to prepare your kid for something that they know is coming, and you don't really have the words to try to ease their pain or their worry. So my wife actually wrote. She's when she's thinking and overthinking, she likes to write, and she wrote a poem. And, over time she turned it into a book, or was going to just give it to Milan as a poem, but then realized, there's probably a lot of people out there that are going through the same thing I went through, looking for information to try to help their kids. So we thought it would be a great way to inspire kids and families that, even though they're going through something so horrific and scary, you can be empowered by it as well. And that's what we hope for our daughter. And we hope for anyone that's reading the book, that it's an inspirational story, that you're proud of your special heart, that, it's part of your story and who you are as a person. So that's kind of the basis of the Heart Playbook is that, it's an area that you can go to be inspired and to find out research of what's, cutting edge research that's going on in the heart world. Where some of the best facilities are to help you and get the care that you need. So we're really excited about that, and any support we'd appreciate. And we're just hoping to do good by a lot of people who helped us at a really difficult time and supported us. And I think that would make all this worthwhile. And I think my daughter, seeing her now older, 7 years old, understanding it has really made us proud.
And of course, you can check out heartsplaybook.com. Proceeds, make some donations as well, going to heart-related causes, which is obviously great. So definitely, if you have an opportunity, check that out, heartsplaybook.com.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cam, you as well, doing a bunch of different things in the community, especially of late. What's propelled you to be involved in or to get yourself involved in that initiative and some of the other things that you do? And of course, CamAtkinson13.com, where you guys can go to make some donations and check out some cool apparel. But Cam, talk to us about your involvement in what you've been doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, if who's ever watching, definitely, if you haven't purchased the Hearts Playbook, it's an amazing book. We have a bunch of copies. It's pretty cool and special to know Milana when she was born and to see how she is as a 7-year-old.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild, but
it kept it at our reading level. So Cam and I could read
I'm a children's pictures book kind of guy.
Nice.
No, you know what? I mean, he can attest to this as well because he has the same values. But giving back and paying it forward has always been the number one thing that was instilled within my brothers through obviously my mom and dad. And if you're in a position where you can give back, I think that's the most important thing. And especially around the holidays when it's supposed to be happy, you're supposed to be with family and friends, and not to mention throw on top of a pandemic. There's a lot of businesses and jobs and restaurants that are struggling, if not going out of business. And obviously with my website with Cam Atkinson 13, all the apparel that people have purchased, 100% of the proceeds we'll give back to a local restaurant or business. And then obviously we started Cameo as well, and it's also a way to interact with fans, which is really special because it gives them, an idea of who we are as a person and get to know us on a more personal level. And 100% of those proceeds are going back to the community as well. And Columbus is home for me. Both my boys were born here, and I have a business here with the Battery Hockey Academy. And whatever hockey does for me, if I stay here, we plan on living here when we're done, when I'm retired. And it's a special place in my family's life, and it will be. And what better way when I'm in the limelight, when he's in the limelight playing for the Blue Jackets, the stage we're at, giving back to what's most important. And that's obviously the community.
Yeah, it's fantastic what he's done with local restaurants and companies here in town. It's awesome. It's admirable. It's great.
Yeah, it's tough for everybody. So definitely, kudos, Cam, to you for doing that, and Nick, to you, your wife, and your daughter for the story that you're able to share with everybody and provide that information as well. Remember, everybody, heartsplaybook.com and CamAtkinson13.com. Check those out. Those proceeds, of course, going to the respective foundations and charities. And if you have more questions, of course, add them into the mix. And we'll get to them as we progress here. Boys, I got to ask about going back to hockey, the bubble, and how that experience was for you guys. Did it become a little daunting? Were you intrigued at first, and then we're like, all right, Groundhog Day kind of situation for you? How was that experience for you guys?
It was exciting.
Yeah, I think I was intrigued.
Play hockey, be with the boys.
I was like, how the hell is this going to happen?
Yeah. Right. Other than being away from your families and your boys and your kids, That was the toughest part. I mean, I'll never forget that day leaving Declan, who was at it. He's only 2.5, but he's at that age. He understands that I'm leaving, and he doesn't know how long I'm leaving. But as soon as we got on the plane, like I said, Nick and I sit next to each other. We had a special group. Obviously, things change, but we knew that we could go in there and do some damage. And being around these guys 24/7. You get sick and tired of them after a little bit, but the whole bubble situation really wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. You're staying in a nice hotel. You're with the guys. You have your lounge. You have, the guys play video games, cards. You're watching hockey 24/7. So yeah, I mean, obviously, we wish we went a little bit further, but it wasn't too bad.
I didn't go to college, but it felt like what a dorm would feel like if there was a bunch of hockey guys in the dorm. And so it's pretty funny, just the different personalities too. Some guys were video gamers, some guys were ping pong players, and some guys would just like to just try to get some sun outside. Cam and I would try to follow the sun in downtown Toronto just to get some sun on our faces, but it was pretty cool.
Did you get a chance to maybe learn something about one of your teammates you didn't know before that, or some tendencies that you're like, all right, you can do that on your own time later on when we're out of this bubble. I'm not going to bother you.
I didn't personally. I mean, you're with these guys all day, every day, right? So, if anything, you learn that someone loves playing video games and doesn't come out of the room for 12 plus hours because they're
when they come out at 6 at night and they're like this, they're like Dracula coming out of their room.
Crazy.
Then another thing, like I think it was just neat to see guys the way you don't see how they operate all the time, right? So some guys would eat dinner. They needed to eat dinner like 8 o'clock at night. They couldn't eat earlier.
Right.
Some of us are, and then also there's guys that are totally content being in their room. And I'm not. Like, I needed to get out of my room and do something. Like, I needed to feel like I was going to at least somewhere else to eat dinner. I hated eating my room.
His ADD kicks in and he's bouncing off the wall.
It's all over the place, yeah.
He texts me like every 2 minutes. All right, we're going. Coffee.
Yeah. So
luckily the coffee.
that was a little interesting. Nice. And then also the parents too. Right? Like you had guys that are up at 7.
Yeah.
Bright. Like I know Nathan Gerby was up and he was like going to work out at 6 a.m. already. And some guys hadn't rolled out of bed yet till 9. And he'd already done a workout and ate breakfast, and it was crazy. So it is funny to see how the different lifestyles all mix in that time. But we had a blast.
Nice. Was it weird, the whole fan? Because I actually was there in the arena, being able to see all your games. And a bunch of others. So for my side, it was a little weird. But what about you guys on the ice with no fans in the building? What was that like?
First game, I noticed it, the exhibition game.
I was going to say that. First period, right?
We lit up Boston.
Right.
But after that, Toronto, once the real games hit, I didn't even notice because I think we were so into them. You're playing against them. It had never, the crowd gets you going. But what would be funny is if it wouldn't even be the goals. It'd be the big hits or something. Yeah. And they pump the crowd noise in.
Yeah.
You're almost like, what happened?
You're on like a 2-on-1, right?
Yeah.
You're getting closer and all of a sudden
you hear the crowd noise.
And you're like, oh my God, what pumping in the corner.
You're like, what's going on behind me? Oh wait, it's me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will say the NHL did a really good job, especially as the games went on, when to pump in the crowd music or the noise in crucial situations.
Yeah. Right. No, it was cool. But then that never, everyone asked me that, what's it like without the fans? Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I never want to play hockey without fans. If that's what we work so hard to get to this level for, is to have 18,000 people in an arena cheering you on or booing you. The fact that we could play for our fans, even at home, I hope they know how much, how we appreciate it. I hope they appreciated that, that we were willing to do that for them, and hopefully put on a good show. I think the NHL did a good job. I think the guys did a good job buying in and putting out a good product on the ice. And we definitely can't wait to get back in front of our fans. So there's no doubt about it. There's nothing better than playing hockey in a sold out arena and having the fans going crazy. You can't beat that.
Get the cannon going.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Gets me every time, by the way.
Yeah.
Jamie Williams has a question, and saying that her daughter, Haley, is a big fan of you guys, especially you, Nick. And they want to know, first of all, how your kids are doing and what some of their favorite activities to do during quarantine.
Their favorite activity is driving me crazy. That's no, they're doing well. Thank you for asking. And hi, Haley. I think what's really neat about this is my son's playing hockey for the first time this year. He's 5 years old, and he's loving it. And I'm loving just being able to take him to the rink and go watch him play. And I probably wouldn't see him as much. So just those things that you would miss out on normally, are really cool to see. I think our kids are. I will say this too, and it's amazing how resilient kids are during a time like this, where we're having a hard time getting used to the new normal. But for them, it's just all right, what do I got to do to go out and play, or do it? Whatever's needed, I'll do it. So I give them a ton of credit because they're way more resilient than we think, and it's been a blast. I got to teach them all 2 out of my 3 now to ride a bike. So it's been those kind of moments where you're spending quality time and not just the little bit of time that you have throughout the day to be able to spend with them. It's quality and quantity, and I don't take that for granted. I'm sure Cam feels the same way.
Yeah, Nick just taught me how to ride a bike too a couple of years ago.
Yeah, there you go. Congratulations.
He wasn't calling up the pedals to left.
The old red dragon. No, I mean, yeah, my oldest is 2.5. I've tried to bring him onto the ice a couple times, and I'm holding him the whole time. My back is tweaked out, so I'm going to hold off on bringing him on the ice until he's ready to rock and roll. But it's crazy to just see how he picks up, whether it's a little hockey stick, a mini hockey stick, a baseball bat, a golf club, and his hand-eye coordination right now is off the charts. And it's not like I'm sitting out. I mean, obviously we play and stuff like that, but he'll go get the ball, put it on the tee, and I'll just be videotaping. I won't say anything. I'm not like, okay, this is how you're doing it. And obviously there's a couple times where I've been behind the it's all in this.
Chubbs, Peter.
This is time that Nick said that we would never get. So I'm relishing all these moments every day. It seems like my youngest Caden is getting a little bit bigger. He's crawling now, and Declan is putting full sentences together. So it's really cool, really really cool, special.
We've got a question from Christy Gaynor, who wants to know what's the funniest or most memorable NHL game either of you guys have played in.
Oh man, funniest.
Has there been a funny incident that happens, or somebody's got to go off the ice and it's not because of a skate, he's got to hit the restroom or something like that?
2 men. I mean,
yeah. I'm trying to think of one.
There's one of him. There's a GIF, one of those videos,
right?
Like a 5-second long video where he's in the box, and you could just search his name, and he's in the box, and, looking at the ref, I didn't do nothing wrong. I would never do anything wrong.
The backstory of that, it was the last game of the year, and Tyler Ennis, I know him because he played with my brother, and he's on Buffalo. And I think it was the last game of the year. And I don't know, I went at somebody because I was in a bad mood, and they're dead last. So he looks at me, and I was in the box. I was trying to, we got a roughing penalty. And he's looking at me, and I kind of know him. He's like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you in such?" I'm like, And I was after, I'm what am I doing? These guys just want to get the hell out of here. They don't even want to play this game. I was all fired up. So yeah, that was a funny one. One of the funniest. I mean, it's not funny. I mean, it's funny now because he ended up not being hurt. But one of the funniest stories, and Artem Anisimov, if he's listening, I pray that we love you. We know we love you. But he got hurt in the game. He took a shot off the knee or off the foot.
I want to say it was
his knee. I think.
Yeah, I think it was his knee.
It was in the last part of the game, and he couldn't get up. So he got off the ice, and he's kind of notorious for, unfortunately, having some instances where he needs to be helped off the ice. But he gets helped off the ice, and they carrying him, and he's like, I can't walk. And so they get him in a wheelchair, I think, to start. And no, they get him in a gurney, some sort of carrying thing. And then they get him off to that point because he couldn't walk. And then they finally wheel a wheelchair in, and they wheel him into the room, I guess. And they get an x-ray on him, and everything checks out fine. But he went from couldn't walk, carried off the ice, to a gurney, to a wheelchair. And then everything turns out fine. He I guess the feeling comes back in his knee or whatever. And doesn't he come back out and scores the game-winning goal in overtime?
Oh, nice.
And I guess like the guys that weren't playing were in tears because they said like the way he came in, you would have thought he was dead. He was never coming back. And just the whole progression too, like how he came out in a wheelchair. They were wheeling him in, this big guy in all his gear. And then for him to go back out and score, I think it's one of the funnier stories I've heard. And Artie definitely
Artie party, baby.
Yeah, he was a beauty. Great guy, great teammate. But that was a good one.
Just a little dramatic though. That's it.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you need that every now and then on some teams.
We've got some more questions in here, and Jamie 1095 wants to know, how was it playing in that overtime game that one night? 7 periods or 8 periods actually, almost 8 full ones.
Oh my gosh! I actually wasn't even supposed to play in that game.
That's the best story.
And it's funny because like obviously everyone kind of goes on social media after whatever, and I didn't know this until social media, but I was the only player.
Social media.
I was the only player on both teams that didn't record a shot on net. And everyone's like, this guy's got to retire. His career's over. But little did they know, I couldn't even.
He had no groin.
But no, I mean, I will say, at that point, like once like 3 overtimes go, there's really nothing that the coaches can come and say in between periods. The boys are like, all right, they almost come in laughing, like, all right, let's just get a shot on net, and you never know what's going to happen.
Hope for the best.
But I will say after that, whether you won or lost, obviously I wish we won because it would have helped a little bit. But guys were hurt, guys were getting sick. Their stomachs were in one. The next day, guys couldn't get out of bed. Like it was pretty rough.
The adrenaline definitely helped get you through it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'll never forget him. I didn't think he was going to play because he was hurt. You got to give the guy a lot of credit. He played and he was hurting. But I remember he looked at me after like the second overtime or third overtime, and he goes like, "Picked a great game, come back."
Or just like, "Hey, you ready to play?" I'm like,
"Yeah, I could go.
I'll do my best."
But,
of course, 5 overtime, 6 overtime, 20 later.
It's crazy.
But it was.
It was awesome. I guess the biggest thing I'll take away from it was awesome to see your teammates push as hard as they could. It sucks that we came up short. It was a crazy fluky goal. But to how hard those guys worked and nobody gave 1 inch. It's not like the guy scored by getting a freebie. It was a wacky playoff. Gavrikov was injured. And he just rifles at the net. And I think Corpusello saw enough rubber and that night.
The record, yeah.
Yeah, so... that was hard to swallow, but just the fact that guys battled and did what they could to try and win that game was just so awesome to watch. And for us to come back and win the next one, I thought that said a lot about us as a group.
I think what was really cool, too, is there was a lot of records that were set that night. Jonesy played
most minutes.
5 minutes. He played he didn't get off the ice. And just to see how he was the next day. And even after the game, it looks like he didn't even break a sweat.
No.
So obviously a very special player, but it was... And then Corpy, I think he made most saves.
A million.
Yeah.
It was close. Yeah, it was right there.
So, there's some records that, probably won't be touched for a long, long time. And it's cool to kind of hit the record books.
Yeah, 3rd longest game in NHL history. And I think the 2 that were a little bit past it were in like the 1920s or 30s or something like that. So it was a heck of a...
Back when Nick played.
Back my rookie year. Awesome.
There it is. We've got a question here from Hockey Hound Show who wants to know name one previous player that you guys played with on the Jackets that you really miss.
Oh, there's a lot.
There's a lot of guys. Yeah,
There's a lot of guys.
One guy comes to mind though, Scott Hartnell.
Yeah.
That's hard though because there's a lot of guys I love. Like I don't know. That's one thing about at least me. You fall in love with these guys. They're just the way you battle with them. But I think just Scott, just because he was such a personality.
Right.
He just, when he came into a room, you knew Scott was in the room, and also like the way he played, he was a gamer. Like, when he stepped on the ice, you knew he was going to bring it. No matter how he felt, he was going to bring his best. And so he was a guy that I really became fast friends. I hated his guts before he got here.
Remember when he pushed me?
Yeah, he blew out my knee the year before he got here.
There was an incident, yeah.
Yeah, so.
What's cool is we're best friends with him.
Yeah.
And our wives and families and stuff like that. I came up, I've been here a long time, right? So it was my rookie years where I've gone through coaches and management and a lot of different players, a lot of really good players. But a guy that took me under his wing, Marion Gabrick.
Right.
Great dude.
When
Great
he was
guy.
here, we lived in the same building, and he really took me under his wing. And we just go out to dinners together. My wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she was in law school, so I was living by myself. And he, just really as a really good mentor for me, who I keep in touch with still to this day. Those guys are guys that don't really come around too often. They have so much skill, have done so much for the game, and moments that I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
He gave me my cologne I wear to this day.
Your cologne?
Oh, that's the big takeaway. Nice.
Chanel Homer. I always tell, it's kind of creepy, but like, Gabby, you always smell so good. Like, what are you wearing?
Nice. Now it's yours.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Want to remind everybody that if you check out wizardworldvault.com, of course, they have some autograph merch, some pucks. You can sign up and register for some video chats with these two guys here as well. And proceeds and all the money raised are going to benefit the respective foundations and charities as well. So check that out at wizardworldvault.com. And of course, check out the Heart Playbook, or excuse me, not the heartplaybook.com and camatkinson13.com as well for some additional stuff there. Boys, got to ask about this upcoming season. We're still trying to figure things out, but it'll be a little bit shorter. Likely divisions are going to change up a little bit. How do you prep for something like that? What are you looking forward to?
I was saying, it's like pretty much you're playing every team in a 7-game series. If I did the math correctly, kind of.
Right.
So probably not. I didn't.
They said there'd be no math, so
thank God.
Yeah.
I don't do school.
I don't do school. But so I think that will get pretty intense and emotional, just no matter what team you're playing. I mean, if we're playing for something, right? So yeah. I think having to face those teams that many times, if we're staying in our divisions, is going to get pretty intense. And especially with the shortened season, how every game is so important, that's going to make for some pretty exciting games, I'm assuming, especially for us too. Every game is going to, our attention, our focus is going to have to be at an all-time high, because there is no nights off. I mean, not that there is anyway in the 82-game schedule, but there's games where maybe you don't feel your best, and that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter in this setting. So I think that for us, it's going to come down to the mental aspect, which I think our coach preaches a lot, and we've worked at as a leadership group and as a team. And, so I think that's going to be put to the test here, which is a great challenge for us. So I'm excited. I know they moved some teams around in our division, but I think we're confident in anyone we face. So it's just going to be a matter of getting into that frame of mind and making sure we're playing the style of a game that's conducive to us winning.
We got a question here about the Lightning from Diamond Diehards, wanting to know if Tampa likely being in your division, or potentially being in your division, has there been a rivalry that may have been built off of what happened in the playoffs and everything?
Maybe a little bit. Yeah. I mean, when we swept them, I think that team that year, that team will go down in history as one of the best teams in the regular season to ever play. I think they had records and whatnot, but it just goes to show, it doesn't matter. As long as you make it to the dance, anything can happen. But
you can tell they had a hate on for us this past, which was great. I mean, that's what you want. Right?
Yeah.
It means you're doing something.
I mean, they still talk about it to this day. I saw Stamkos on the NHL Network a couple of days ago when you were on with Janelle and Milana talking about when we swept them. So, I mean, obviously people are going to be talking about it for years and years. And maybe that's what kind of made them change their team dynamic for the next year to make them a little bit heavier of a team. And obviously they have so much skill. So, but yeah, I mean,
Did he apologize for punching me in the face?
No. I didn't hear that one. You'll get it back.
I'll talk to him.
You guys can talk about it next game. We'll take a few more because I know you guys time's running out here, but we'll take a few more for you. CBJ fan wanting to know if either of you guys have a favorite pregame meal.
I'm gonna plug this local restaurant. I go to a spot here in town, and it's just a really great place. And I get a veal parm with penne vodka sauce. That's my go-to at home. And I just love, it's called Cafe Da Vinci. I'm gonna plug them anyway. But they're just such great people. But anyway, that's the meal I love. It brings me back to like my mom's cooking, and
Nice.
so it's a hearty meal, but it gets me going for the games. I feel really good come game time. That's important. I don't think the food, it's how you feel on the food is what makes it. So not so much that, I need anything that makes me feel good, but that one does. And so it's nice.
I think for the most part, all the guys eat, relatively the same thing. Guys carb load, so it's a lot of pasta. For me, I have to have a big salad, and then I love penne al vodka sauce too. So depends on if I'm on my wife's good side, she'll cook for me.
Right.
Not, I'll meet one of the guys somewhere, Cafe Da Vinci, or there's so many good spots in Columbus. Right. But yeah, as long as I get my nap in, a little bit of a nap. It went from 2 hours to 20 to 30 minutes because of the kids. But as long as I can shut my eyes for a little bit, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Is there
anymore? Those days gone.
What about you guys? I got a question here asking if you have a favorite pizza topping.
Ooh,
maybe.
I'm banana peppers. I like a little kick. Need a little something.
Yeah.
I'm boring.
Just straight up.
Give me 4.
That's because you can't eat meat, otherwise it's coming out the other end.
Pepperoni, mushroom.
Right.
I didn't know. Salt Bay. Yeah. No, I'm just mozzarella cheese, whatever.
Cam's stomach can't handle anything but cheese. Can't handle meat.
No.
We'll never let him eat meat.
All right. We got Kayla Rogers wants to know what's your favorite thing about playing on the same line together?
We just have a lot of fun together. I think when we have success, it's just so fun. Like we end up coming up with stupid. I mean, you can ask the guys on our team. We have the stupidest things that we do in the locker room, and I don't even know why. We sit right across from each other in the locker room,
which is not good.
And it's not good.
Right. Goes on his little tantrum. Yeah. I look at Nick and I'm just like.
There'll be a couple times where we just start laughing. But we become great friends. So I think just whenever you see your friend have success, you want to help them get there. Plus, they want to help you get there. So I think it makes for great chemistry when we play together, and it's fun. I mean, we have a blast, and I think the biggest thing too is we want to win a Stanley Cup together. I think we want to find a way to get that done, and so if we can push each other when we need to be pushed, it's not all fun and games. It's pushing each other at the right times, and making sure that we're all on the same page of trying to get to that goal. It's a blast to go on that journey together. So I think we're having a blast doing that, and we feel like we're pretty close.
Nice. And before we let you go, is there, and guys, thanks again, definitely for coming on and doing this. And for everybody watching, visit wizardworldvault.com to check out some cool merch and to sign up for things like getting a free video or a set up a video chat with these guys. Check it out. All the proceeds that are there are going to go to their foundations and charities that these guys work with. So definitely check it out. And of course, heartplaybook.com and camatkinson13.com as well. And guys, advice for young players that are coming into their own, developing their games and wanting to take their games to the next level. Is there any kind of advice you'd want to throw their way on how to evolve their game? Obviously, it takes a lot to get to the NHL. There's no question. But what kind of advice would you guys have for some young kids that are trying to take those steps?
That's probably a question we get. That's the number one question for parents, because everyone wants their kid to make it to the NHL and be the greatest player to ever play.
Think of Adam Sandler and Billy Madison.
Don't do it. Stay here. Yeah. Honestly,
no,
it's for me, what I tell parents, and whether they listen or not. I mean, for the most part, kids are going to play, hockey all year round. There's ice available, and I tell them not to. I mean, I grew up playing tennis and lacrosse and played all these other different sports that really work on my hand-eye and timing and stuff like that I think really helps your development as you kind of, through your youth years until you get to teenage years. And then you really figure out what you want to do, if you want to stick with hockey or a different sport. But I think people and parents are so, preoccupied with making it right away when they're 7 years old that by the time they're 13, 14, they get burnt out and they don't want to play hockey anymore. And I think that's, you lose the passion and the love for the game. So, just play every other sport, until you really figure out what you really want to do. And if you want to do that, then stick with it and work on your craft on a daily basis. Whether it's shooting pucks in the driveway, stick handling, you don't always have to be on the ice. But little things like that to really improve your game when people aren't watching, I think that goes a long way.
Yeah. And it is amazing too, when you play different sports, how you end up taking from those sports the sport that you really gel with anyway. Like whether it becomes soccer or baseball or hockey, I mean, the other sports that you play allow you to excel in that sport that you end up having the passion for anyway. It'll come to you at certain points. Cam said it perfectly. I mean, the passion of the game has to be at the front of it all. I think that's how you, first of all, that's what makes you willing to do the work, to miss the party, the sacrifices that you make. That, no, you know what, Friday night I can't. I got a game the next day. I'm going to stay home, and you all these friends are out partying or having a great time. You don't mind because you love to do it. It's something that makes you feel who you are. And so I always tell people that playing other sports sometimes allows you to have the skill sets now necessary in order to excel at that sport that you're really passionate about. So, Cam nailed it. I think it's just it's such a true statement. And I know it. And now everything is at people's, finger. There's more ice available. There's more opportunities to do more, but sometimes less is more. Yeah. And that's something that it's not easy to do right now, but it's necessary.
Well, the worst part is parents think that if their kid misses a summer or a tournament, that they're falling behind, right? So it's hard to really kind of, I guess, tell them to take, it's fine. Like you're not going to be a first overall pick when you're 12 years old. I mean, it's right. Like Nick said, you have to have that passion throughout your career and in your life, and to really want to, when you pick up the stick, to feel like you're, free. And so, yeah.
My mom took me out of travel hockey. One year she couldn't do it. She had 4 kids. My dad was never around because he was coaching. She took me out of travel hockey at like 13 years old, which is a pretty, formative year for a hockey player, right? It's kind of that age where you're starting to get, towards and I never forget it because I was out of travel hockey and I played high school hockey. And it was, I had the best year of my life. I had so much fun. So I was 13, 14 in and around there. And, I ended up next year going and playing on a junior team that following year because and then I got scouted for the US program. So, even in a formative year and a time when maybe you're like, oh, I was playing in essentially a house league. And it was a great league in high school, but it was high school hockey. It was your friends, the passion was there more than the expertise. So, less is more sometimes. And I think it catapulted me as a player just because I had so much fun playing and was excited to then go back out there and go on another team.
There you go. Good advice. Very good advice, everybody, because
listen what I say. Or you will say.
Sometimes parents need to hear it. There's no question. They need the real, and what better insight can they get from the experts, from you guys. Guys, really thank you very much for the time, for taking everybody's questions, and for just being involved in everything that you guys are involved with your different foundations, with heartplaybook.com, CamAtkinson13.com, everything that you guys are involved with. Thank you very much for that. And thanks for taking the time here. And remember, everybody, visit wizardworldvault.com. Tons of merch from these guys, signed merch as well, pucks and video chats that you can sign up for. And the money that's raised is going to the different charities and foundations that these guys are involved in. So guys, once again, thanks so much. Hope to see you on the ice soon. Hopefully things get worked out, and have a good season.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.
Happy holidays.
Merry
Thank you for
Christmas.
tuning in.
Happy holidays.
And thank you for support of our charities, too. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.